rock and roll. So first things first, given that I'm taking a little bit less than an hour of your time, I wanted to start with why does it matter? Why do we need a LinkedIn profile? Why do we need to write content on LinkedIn? Why does it matter? Someone has to answer. I mean, come
Visibility.
On. Visibility, very good. What else?
Better opportunities, invitations to events, new jobs, new stuff.
A-class team. Yes, absolutely. Opportunities for new jobs, for conferences, for collaborations. Anything else?
Authority.
Say it again.
Authority.
Authority. Absolutely. To build your brand. Absolutely. Okay. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, the A team, of course, you tackled everything. I'll just wrap it up as like a few bullet points. Oh, funny. Okay, I'm passing the introducing myself because you already know me, and I'm going directly to what we're going to talk about, and to make sure everything is aligned. So you said everything correctly. It's to build your brand. It's to create more opportunities. It's to create collaborations, and also to build your network, because you never know where and when you will be your next step. Like the same thing as we created in Esada, that we were together in a course, and you never know what's going to be the next step. When you have a LinkedIn profile and you're active on the platform, you never know what next will be bringing. So starting with why, I'll show you the slide, but I just wanted to wrap up around it. We'll talk about the 8 steps of how to build a winning LinkedIn profile. It's very like a checklist vibe. You don't need to take screenshots or anything. I'll send you the deck after our session. We'll talk about content, why specifically content is important. So not to sit in the back seat, but actually be an active member, and to network with intention. And then we'll talk about summary and some homework, because with me, you always have homework. Tough luck. So starting with why, where are we here today? Why do we need a complete LinkedIn profile, and why do we need the content? So we covered those points. You said it yourself, more opportunities, more job offers, more leads, more collaborations are out there. So in comparison to people we meet face-to-face where it's very limited, when we are on LinkedIn, we are exposed to the 1.2 billion users. So it's just working in much bigger scale. Second part is building your professional brand. You have a lot of knowledge, a lot. Sharing it helps you build your brand. It's putting an effort on the go, but eventually you build your brand professionally in the network and expanding your network. Let's talk about the steps. Okay, so very simple 8 steps to complete your profile. First things first, now I'm gonna wear 2 hats today, okay? The hat of a LinkedIn employee and the hat of a LinkedIn member, and I'll zigzag between them. Here, what I'm talking about is something that LinkedIn is recommending, and I'm encouraging it as well, is to keep your profile fully visible. I know that sometimes people are putting themselves in incognito because they don't want to see, they don't want other people to see that they looked for them. You're literally sabotaging potential opportunities, because if you're in incognito and you search someone, they're unable to contact you back. I'll show you an example how it looks like. So I highly encourage you to put yourself in full visibility. What does it look like? Okay, people who viewed my profile, all of those, I got a notification that they viewed my profile. Okay, so Sharon, for example, we're first degree, which means we're connected. When she viewed my profile, I was like, oh, right, I haven't spoken to her for a while, I'll contact. Okay, so it gave me an opportunity of like, okay, let's see what's going on. When Michelle looked at my profile, she's second degree, which means that we're not connected, but we have a mutual connection between us. When she looked at my profile, I was like, interesting. What was interesting for her in my profile? Who's connected between us? Like, to get some context of why she looked at my profile. And Beth is the most interesting because we are third connection, which means that there is no way she will get to my profile unless she was intentionally looking for it, because we don't have anyone in our network that is connected. So for me, it gives me an opportunity to say, okay, I can reach out to her and say like, hi, I saw you looked at my profile, wanted to reach out to see what's going on. So it gives me an opportunity to reach back. On the opposite side, when you are in incognito mode, that's what you see. So both those people, let's say the salesperson in Palo Alto Networks, it's a huge company. I work in sales. I want to connect with them, have no idea who they are. So they looked at my profile and both of us miss an opportunity to connect with each other because they are in incognito mode. So first things first, remove that. You don't need to be in incognito. Always be fully visible. Good. Now, when we talk about the 8 steps, just to keep like the mental like organization, we divide it to 3 buckets: the visual, the content, and the extras. I'll cover each and every one of them. It's just to make it like the housekeeping a bit more easier to follow. We start with the visual. First things first is your profile picture. Okay, this is something at the end of the day where people communicating with people, visuals have a strong impact on how we communicate. You want to make sure you have a professional picture. Professional picture, hence something that is clear how your face is there. So no sunglasses and no pictures on the beach and no pictures from the side. This is for other platforms. Okay, the picture has to be very clear, clear background, something that looks like you. Okay, so if I dye my hair to blonde, I need to change my profile picture. If I start wearing glasses, it's important that this is your ID, so it has to match who you are today. Good profile pictures, so there you go. Okay, it doesn't have to be like white background or whatever, but you want the picture to be clear on who are those people. Not so recommended. Okay, so as you can see here, someone put their children's picture as a profile picture, not the right platform. You can do it in Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, but this is not for LinkedIn. Someone who wears a hat and sunglasses, I'll see her in like real life. I'm not sure I'll even recognize her. And this is more inspirational, but LinkedIn, this is not your profile picture. It's not like it's not the right match. Okay, so lead with the professional pictures. The good thing is that even if you don't have a professional picture, like in a photo shoot, you know that they do in a lot of corporates, today's smartphones can create great pictures with no problem. So just put a good setting, a good light, like stand in front of the light to make sure that it's very clear, and just put a good picture. The second part is the cover photo, which is the largest real estate you have in your profile. Now, the cover photo in LinkedIn, there's a recommendation to one of 2. One option is to put something that is part of your brand. Okay, I'll explain what it means in a second. And the second part is to put something that supports your company that you work for, that supports the professional brand in the aspect of the company. The 2 examples you see here. So my cover photo is me jumping in the mountains, which is part of my brand as an ultra marathon runner, and I love pink, so I chose specifically something that aligns on both sides. And then it tells my story as more of a round figure. LinkedIn is not just about your professional title, it's who you are as a professional. And we are a lot of things. We are more than one title. Lisa, who's a VP, senior VP in LinkedIn, she chose a cover that supports one of LinkedIn's strongest AI tools. So as a VP, she decided that she wants to go and lead with the supporting the brand, and she put something that is relevant for LinkedIn. So either or, both of them are great. Regarding the headline, which is the third part of the visual, which is one of the most important parts, because if you think about it, if you look at a lot of profiles, you see what catches your eye is the face of the profile picture, the cover, and then what does those people do? And what we recommend in the headline is to put who you are in a value sense. So it's not just about, I'm Liat, I'm a lead enterprise account director at LinkedIn. Okay, fine, but that's not the only thing I do. I have a specific value that I deliver. I'm turning relationships into revenue. So it's something very specific of where I contribute to do something. I'm a public speaker and I'm an ultramarathon runner. So it's like a bit of like a tapas vibe of you do a few things because we're never only one thing, and how you can wrap it up together so it will catch the potential prospect's eyes. Now, if you don't know what to write, that's where AI is coming. And we'll talk about AI in a second, but you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Another example is Adi Mobilan, who's a senior director in Microsoft. So she wrote, Director, Microsoft Garage, India, Middle East, and Africa. Great. Generative AI for innovation. I mean, of course, everything is around AI, especially in Microsoft. She's the unriddler, which that's where it sparks the interest of like, oh, what does it mean? What's the unriddler man? Whatever. And she's a public speaker. Okay, so think of like, who are you in a more holistic way, not just I am a salesperson, I'm a director of innovation. No, something that is much rounder and bigger. Okay, before I go to the about, pausing for questions. Any questions so far? Okay. So we spoke about the visual sense. Remember the first bucket. Now we move to the second bucket, which is the content. Now, when I talk about content, it's not the content that you write. We'll talk about it in the second half of the session. It's the more, I would say, the body, quote unquote, of your profile, where you actually say what you do. The first part is the about section. The about section, the idea is to tell a story of who you are. So in comparison to a CV where you write in bullet points, here it's more of the story, okay? And the flow we recommend in LinkedIn is to write like a one-liner, a good hook of what's your passion, then a little bit about your background. If you do anything extra in parallel to your job, in your day-to-day job at work, the company you currently work for, and a call to action. One thing that is across the board very strong in LinkedIn is that always there's a calling for engagement. In comparison to other platforms where you just scroll and you are passive, LinkedIn wants you engaging all the time on the platform. So in parallel to being you engaging with other people's content, they encourage you to write content in a way that people will contact you. So leading with call to action is very important. This is my about. It's a bit heavy on the eye when you look on it this way, but if you follow the taglines of what I showed you, it's one after the other. So my passion is people, relationship, results. That's what, like, my one-liner, my hook of what drives me. I'm talking about what I've been doing. So over the past 10 years, I was in law firms and consulting and Microsoft and did a bunch of stuff. Extras, I'm leading also mentoring sessions and also professional sessions. I'm delivering all sorts of sessions as part of my work. And I'm working currently for LinkedIn, and I'm saying, let's connect, and putting my email if someone wants to reach out. Okay, so this is giving an overview in a story sense of what I'm doing. After the about section, there's a part that is called the featured section, which is a carousel. The cool thing about the carousel is that you can share links for like highlights of things you did. So it can be a post that got a lot of engagement. It can be an article you published. It can be a blog you published. Now, many times people tell me, but wait, I didn't do anything. I didn't do this. And I'm like, yes, yet. Okay, so you just want to keep it in mind to have like 3 or 4 highlights that help people when they look at your profile to get something that supports what you say you do. Okay, I can say I'm an opera singer. You cannot call me out because you don't know. I don't know how to sing. Okay, if I sing, you lose your ears. Like, no. But if I want it to be supported, I will upload a video of me singing. And then there's alignment between what I say I can do and what I actually deliver. In your experience part, so that's the part where you write your CV. Okay, that's where you do like the bullet points of your experience. Now, what we recommend in LinkedIn is that in every experience, professional experience you have, to write 3 to 5 bullet points that will be very clear and very supported with numbers. So I'm saying it as someone who comes from corporates that use a lot of acronyms that only we understand. That will not serve me well if I put it on LinkedIn, because the potential partner, future boss, collaborator, whatever, they won't understand that. So keeping the language simple to understand doesn't downgrade you, quite the opposite. It makes more people engage with it. So you want to keep it very clear, very quantitative, very results driven. You want to show progress from one role to the other, whether you work in the same company and switched roles, or if you switch from one company to the other to show that you've progressed from one role to the other. And use rich media. So in order to avoid the fact that it's just words, a lot of words, to share things that show and support what you've been doing. So if I'm saying I'm a public speaker, I'll add here a video of me delivering a session. If I'm saying that I did anything, it just supports what you actually say you're doing. So through time, the idea is to keep it on the go. In comparison to CV that is very flat and not moving, it's stagnant. You wrote it once, that's it. Your LinkedIn profile is something that you keep updating on the go. So the idea is that now you know what to do, and then you add those links as you progress, as you have more things and activities you've participated in. This is what I've been talking about, adding examples to your work. So it's the same thing as you do in the featured, in the highlights. You can put in your experience in the profile itself. Regarding skills and endorsements and recommendations. So in skills, we recommend in LinkedIn to put up to 15 different skills. The reason is because in your role, there are a lot of things you probably need to do to be a professional, but not all of it is part of your core skills. What do I mean by that? I work in sales, so I need to know how to work with Excel, right? It's very important. I don't like Excel, but I need to work with it. But it won't be part of my core skills. However, if I was a developer in Microsoft who works in the department that develops Excel, that's part of my core skills. So as a seller, one of my top skills is strategic partnerships. Needless to explain why, right? Where does it become interesting? I can say anything I want about myself, but what makes it stronger and more reliable is if someone else is endorsing me for the role. It's like doing kudos to me. Tomer Zucker, that you see here, is a leading professional in Israel in the area of sales and marketing and AI and all of that. When he endorsed me on this skill, that it's strengthening my reputation and my brand. So it's not only me saying, yes, I own this, it's someone else confirming that this is a strong skill. Same as recommendations. In the past, we used to ask for recommendations or referrals only when we left the place we work at. We don't need to do it anymore. You finished a project, you were promoted and moved to another department, ask from your former boss for a recommendation, and then you have it on LinkedIn and it stays there for life. So it's something that serves you. And with time, when someone is thinking whether they want to hire you or not, they can look at their recommendations. First of all, they can reach out to those people directly, but also they can see how senior they were, what did they recommend about. So it gives a double down on your skills and your contribution to the organization. Okay, before I do the extra stuff, any questions about this type of content, what to write on profile, something is unclear?
Liat, regarding the number of skills, you mentioned 15, but here I see 5.
It's yeah, now I see it 17. Funny. No, it says if you add 5 more, you'll receive like 17 more views. The reason it's written here in this way is because many people don't put anything. So they want to encourage people to put more. But I've found that many times people put 40 skills. No need. Up to 15.
Up to 15, okay.
Yeah.
I was told to put also 15, 14 or something like that, like a lot. Now I was thinking it's too much, but better to hear from you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I saw a hand, but I didn't see the name.
It was me, Liat. Sorry. Yeah. I have a silly doubt here. So I'm a person that moved between very different careers with very different skills that were required. And my skills of the past, they were actually endorsed, which was great. But now I have mixed feelings if I should remove them or not. Is it okay to have like a lot of skills? Because, as you move in your career, it might be very different, or How do you feel about this? I'm saying this because in the past, in my background is engineering. I studied things very technical like power electronics, and this was strongly supported by my colleagues because I was really an expert. But now I'm a lobbyist, so completely different. And I wonder how I should manage this. I'm a bit stuck here in my LinkedIn.
Yeah, I understand. I would say that if you have let's say 3 skills that are relevant to the past but are part of who you are, I would keep them. But if you have 50 and in each and every one person endorsed, the other one, 2 people endorsed, it's not strong enough. So choose 3 that got a lot of endorsements, keep them, and the rest you can put in hide. So don't delete it, but it's just when you put 40, nobody sees 40. So it doesn't make any sense.
You can hide them, Liat?
I think so. I'm almost positive. I haven't checked lately. I can check after our session. I think you can play with it. You don't need to delete. I think you can play with what you to put on first, so you can organize it or rearrange it.
Eunice, maybe just to add, I will say if you are looking for something different and the skills in the past are helping you to find in the new profile, that's fine. If but I will not. But if they are not supporting the new position, it's good to have it, because if you don't have many, let's say, I will focus on what you want to achieve and put these skills there.
Absolutely. The only thing I'm encouraging you is to stay focused and not to put 40 skills and then nobody sees it anyway. So it's just a pity. I would rearrange it that those were endorsed the most will be the first ones people see. Okay. A few cool extra stuff. So for those of you who have premium, and I'm not trying to sell here, it's just putting it on the table. I don't get any quota for this. For those of you who have premium, you have access to LinkedIn Learning, which is great. And also, if you're searching for a job, your profile will be pushed higher to the recruiters. From a very simple sense. Once you pay for something, it gives you how can I say it? It puts you first in comparison to others. So again, higher visibility, you get emails, which means you can send internal LinkedIn emails to people you're not connected to, and you have a bit more filters to search. So this is just for you to know, for those who are pondering or in a position that they start thinking about looking for their next play, premium is relevant for you. Regarding AI, so everything I showed you till now, you have knowledge in your... Yeah.
I stopped you. One question I just received. I was just opening my LinkedIn because we have this call, and I just saw that I received a business profile offer instead of premium. I have premium already. What will be the difference between premium and business?
I don't know what's business. If you want, you can send me a screenshot. I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, it's like a bit more expensive, but and these InMails, what is exactly?
Emails, so when you want to connect with someone, you send a connection request, but you don't know if they saw it, if they didn't see it, unless they accept it. If I want to connect with, to reach out to someone and I don't have, I send them a connection request and never replied, I can do it with an email. And emails you receive only if you have premium. So it helps you overcome a barrier of you connected with someone and they never accepted your connection request, or maybe they didn't see it or whatever. Okay. Cool. So regarding, I'm pausing for a second with the questions, and I'll finish this and I'll pause again. Okay. I just want to wrap up the 8 steps. Regarding the AI, that can help you do anything. That's the good thing with all those platforms, is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So I gave you an example here of how I used AI, I think 2 or 3 years ago when it just started. And I was very clear on what I want. So I was like, please help me write 5 bullet points of my role. These are the highlights or the specific words I want you to add into it. And then with the prompt, you do the back and forth with AI. You don't need to reinvent anything. So it makes life much easier. So I would highly encourage you for all the content parts to do it with AI, just to make sure that it doesn't sound robotic and also that it doesn't invent anything that is not real. After you do all of that, you go to more, you download your profile as a PDF and you upload it again up to AI. And what you do with that is that you ask the AI, hold on, I'll get back to it. I don't know what happened here. You ask the AI to make sure that you don't have any grammar mistakes, any spelling mistakes, something that went wrong. So it practically does like a facelift to your profile. Okay, so you literally ask, I just want to make sure if there are any corrections to do anything else. And then you know that your profile is perfect and flawless. So you do everything with AI, you upload it to your LinkedIn profile, you save it to PDF, you upload it again to AI, and just make sure that the profile is complete and everything is in place. I saw a hand. I don't remember who it was, so I'm pausing again for questions and we'll move to content. What a question?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
Ilana. I have a question about, I have multiple career breaks, and how would you advise me to present it so that it doesn't feel so fragmented? Or should I just leave them out and explain it in the CV, or?
I need to, it's too specific. I think we started talking about it in the past when we, in Barcelona. I would start with creating some kind, in LinkedIn, you can do a career break, but I wouldn't do so many career breaks. So maybe I would put only one, and you can write in the description of like, I invested in building my family. I did this. It's something that is very common today for like people to take career breaks. But if every 2 years you didn't work 2 years, I would avoid that. So it's to build some kind of flow that makes sense. And then the main career break I would mention. So something with the storytelling.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any further questions about this part? Cool. Okay. So we talked about the 8 steps of how to build a winning profile. Pretty straightforward. You follow each and every of the steps, and then most of the time you don't really need to touch your profile. I mean, we don't switch jobs every day. Unfortunately, we don't get promoted all the time. So it's pretty much the same thing. Where it gets interesting is your content. And the content, that's the main figure that can help you be in a position that you get more opportunities and get more offers and get more partnerships and get whatever, versus another platform that you're sitting passive and only get information in the consuming, like just to consume the information instead of being an active player. So when we think about content, and we all do the scrolling every day, right? All the time, think to yourself, what actually makes you stop on the scrolling and be interested in reading? Like, what's the thing that catches your eye? And usually, whoever is consuming knowledge out there is leading with WIFM. WIFM is what's in it for me. Nobody cares about our achievements. Each person's reading something and is like, okay, what can I learn from it? Okay, how can this help me? Okay, everyone is thinking about what's in their mind, their issues, their goals, whatever they want to achieve. Us as content writers, we need to be in a position that we're always leading with what's in it for the other side. What can they learn from it? How can that contribute to them? When you lead with value, more people engage with your content, and then you get more engagement and more opportunities. And this is like how it rolls. This is like the umbrella of all the content part. Now I want to like go a little bit deeper. So first of all, I want to make it easier regarding the framing of the categories of content we have in LinkedIn. And I'll show an example on each of every one of them. The first thing is what we call thought leadership. Thought leadership is all the unique content you create. When I talk about unique content, it can be an idea I have, and then I wrote a post about it, but it can be also that I read an article and I found it very interesting. I summarize it, and then I share it in a post. That's also unique. Okay, it's something you actually did some work of analyzing, reframing, editing, adding your 2 cents. That's unique content, and this is thought leadership. The second part is company content. For those of you who work in companies, usually they have a marketing department that creates content. When you share this content, that's the company content. The third is everything around industry updates, events, webinars, conferences, whatever we're doing out there. And the fourth is non-work related content. Now, I highly recommend to be very cautious with this content because LinkedIn moved a little bit towards becoming more a social platform, but down the line, it doesn't serve you as professionals. I'll show you an example of what I mean. The idea is when you share non-work related content, the question you need to ask yourself is the following. If my current boss, future boss, future customers, current customers, whoever is in my professional network sees this post, am I cringing? Like, oops, I didn't want them to see that. If the answer is yes, don't post it. Okay, the idea is that if it's a network related content, it needs to support you as a professional. I'll show you an example in a second. Okay, thought leadership, very straightforward. Content that you create. For those of you who connected with me recently, you probably got an invite to follow my weekly newsletter. I have a newsletter that is released every Monday morning. This is thought leadership. It's literally content that I write. Okay, very straightforward. The second is company content. As you can see here, LinkedIn sells solutions on LinkedIn. It's the newsletter of the department of the business line I'm part of. And when we only started working with AI features and whatever, there was a lot of buzz around it. So I shared it. So I just literally I share the company content. The most important part is to give your context. Meaning, if you just do repost, LinkedIn will do something that is called shadow ban. It won't get any engagement. Because when you repost something and don't give the context, practically what you're saying to your audience is, you do the heavy lifting and read it and understand why I reposted it. No, LinkedIn wants you to be an active participant and explain why are you sharing this content. So sharing a few lines, like what I did here, changes how exposed this content will be. The third is about events. This is an example of an event we had in Tel Aviv a few years back, where I thanked all the relevant participants and my team. So keeping very straightforward, when you have an event or going to a conference or whatever, to just talk about where you were, what you did, thanking the relevant people. Regarding the not work related, here's an example of something that I posted. In Ireland, they have every year in October. It's like the month of raising awareness to breast cancer, and they have a race. So I participated in the race in the memory of a good friend of mine who passed away because of breast cancer. And then I referred to it on the post, and even here, I took the call to action and I just said, ladies, please go get checked. Gentlemen, please talk to your spouse, daughters, cousins, colleagues, whatever, to go get checked. So if you ask me, Liat, if your current boss, former boss, future boss, colleagues read this post, will you cringe? And I'm like, no, I encourage them to go get tested. Okay, so this is not related to my work, but it's a mission. It's something that I find very, very important. And it's connected to me as a runner and to me as a woman. And I'm like, yeah, it should be in LinkedIn as well, because I'm raising awareness to something that is very, very important. So when we talk about not work related, I would encourage you to do it in like a percentage of every 9 professional posts to have 1 that is not work related, not to make it only or the focus of not work related. I hope it makes sense. Content questions. This is probably the most important part when we talk about content, because these are the questions we encourage you to ask when you want to write something. And when you know how to answer those, you significantly increase the chances that your content will be engaging. First of all, who is it for? I work in sales and I sell to salespeople. So for those of you on the line who are not in the field of sales, probably most of my content is not relevant for you, and it's okay. When you write your content, you want to make sure you know who's the audience, who you want them to read. It has to be focused and relevant to those people. The most important question, what's in it for them? What are they learning from you? What are you inspiring them? Are you encouraging them to do something different? What are they learning from you? To say, I'm great, I did this, I did that. not relevant for them. Okay, people are more interested of like, okay, how is it relevant and affecting me? So this is the main question to ask. Then the timing. Why are you sharing this with me now? Why is it relevant at this moment? Is this a release of a new product? Is this a recent update? Why is it relevant? And of course, what do I want them to do? Do I ask them a question? Do I want their perspective? Do I want them to register to something? Do I want to meet them somewhere? We need to encourage them to be active, so they won't keep doing the scrolling. We want them to engage with our post. I want to show you an example. So as I shared with you, I work in LinkedIn. I'm selling one of our platforms, which is Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is a tool for salespeople. So who is it for? Salespeople. You're not in sales, not relevant for you. Keep scrolling. Okay, for a year, every week, I published Sales Navigator weekly tip to engage with my crowd. So what's in it for them? I teach them something for free on how to use the platform better to help them sell more. It's not about me, it's about them. Why now? I wanted to keep it a weekly commitment. So every Monday, 52 weeks, so 52 posts, I published something that will increase the engagement of me and my audience, me and my potential prospects, to build something that is builds my credibility, makes me accessible, builds my brand. So it was a larger perspective of why I wanted to do that, but I was focusing on them. How can I teach them something new? How can I help them be more successful? So to equip them. And what do I want them to do? Each and every post ended with a question. I wanted to learn from them. What was helpful for them? What do they find most relevant? Whatever. Okay, so this structure, I just followed it every week with these kind of posts. And these are the questions that I highly recommend you to keep in mind whenever you want to post something. What is the content that drives most engagement? So first of all, to keep it short. Remember, people are doing this. If you post something and it's more than 2 scrolls, it's too long. It's for a blog, it's for an article, it's something else. You want to keep your message very short and snappy. Second, you want something inspirational. People want to connect. Connection is emotional. You want something that is inspirational, teaches something new, sparks an interest. That's the word. To the point. So even if you want to deliver something that is very heavy, nice. Divide it to 5 different posts. Make it like small bites, not something that is too heavy for one post. Video is king. LinkedIn loves video. So if you feel comfortable enough, and I'm telling you as someone who hates taking videos and does it anyway, videos are best. And if not videos, you need something visual. Avoid just writing words and words and words. It's not engaging. People need like the visual part to communicate. What's a ripple effect? So when you post something and you tag a person, once they comment on your post, all of their network is exposed to your post. So we had an event in Israel. I thanked one of the people we hosted. When he replied to my post, all of his network was exposed to my post. And then I got more engagement from his network. So I would encourage you to tag people, but don't tag 50 people on the post. If you remember, when I posted on ISADE after the course, on the post itself, I thanked the professor and John and Agustina, but I wanted to thank you as well as the participants and my colleagues. I did it in the first comment. LinkedIn does not like when 50 people are tagged on a post. Usually she shuts it down because it comes across as something that is too automated or something like that. So the ripple effect is to be very specific, to tag a few people, not like dozens. Regarding tracking the engagement, so there are things that are obvious, right? Like the likes and how many comments and the impressions, which means the people that actually saw the post. The interesting thing is that you can go a bit deeper and you can see job titles, like how senior the people who are seeing your post. Location, are they in the same area? Are they somewhere else? You can also see company sizes and industries. So it gives you a bit of a feedback on who actually is exposed to your post. And I can share with you that today, LinkedIn's focus is comments by far. LinkedIn wants people to engage. So when you comment on other people's posts, immediately LinkedIn wants to help you get more exposure. And when people are commenting on yours, immediately it helps for you get more impressions. So I would highly recommend to focus on being active on engaging with others, because when you're engaging with them, immediately they want to engage with you back. The reciprocity game is working very strongly here. A few tips and tricks, and then I'll stop for questions. So your unique voice is the best thing. Okay, LinkedIn loves thought leadership, and when you post on things that are yours, not reposting, whatever, things that are yours. Second is regarding the hashtags and mentioning people. So hashtags, in the past, it was stronger. Today, I see that more and more it fades away. So I will not necessarily recommend using it. Mentioning people, as I said earlier, to do it very slightly and thoughtful. Not everyone, not 50 people. Even if it was a course of 50 people, thank the professor and the rest of the 50 participants, put them in the first comment. Don't put them on the post itself. Video, 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 video. Use a video. It's the strongest way to communicate with the audience. And if not, then use a picture. Regarding time and day. So people always ask me, what's the best day to post? What's the best time to post? To be honest, it doesn't really matter. When you have good content, whenever you post it, it will get the right engagement. I can share with you that I traveled a lot as part of my role. So I was posting in US time, in Israel time, daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. When it's a good content, people will engage with it. And regarding the cadence is the king. So when you want to build your brand, you have to be consistent. You have to commit to some kind of cadence that this is when I'm posting. Now, it can be time draining, but the good thing is that you can decide, okay, I'm taking an hour, I'm working on 4 posts, and I'm rescheduling them. So once you schedule them, that's it. They're there, and you don't need to go back and write every week all the time. So I would highly encourage you to think of a strategy of okay, I want to post every week. Now I'll work on 4 posts, and that's it. And then you do it once a month for the rest of the month, and you don't need to touch it anymore. But writing in a consistent manner, this is the strongest thing on LinkedIn to build your brand and build your visibility online. Homework. So I will share with you the deck so you can follow afterwards and make sure you follow the 8 steps to work on your profile. Then I want you to start sharing your knowledge. So start writing posts that are what you're teaching. You're from the teacher position. You're teaching your knowledge to your crowd and engage. The more you're engaging with other people's posts, the more you increase the chances that they will engage with yours. And that makes all the difference when you want to build your brand online. I'm pausing for questions. Since we're all connected on LinkedIn, I'm stopping the sharing.